Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. Today is my best of 2018 concealers video. I know that lots of you want to know what I think of concealers because I'm obsessed with concealers, and I think most of these were launches during 2018. Some of them are not, but they are still OGs, you know. They are definitely some I reach for. So I just wanted to give you my favorites. We have a good half dozen here. Seven? All right, and kind of high end. I'm so sorry. Some are a better value than others though. Okay, we'll see. Now, to start off, I definitely fell in love with this concealer back in spring, I think, when they launched. Sophie, stop hitting my camera. God. And it's the Born This Way concealer. This is their multi-use sculpting concealer, not to be confused with the the Born This Way, the previous one, that is just a little lighter coverage in terms of formula. This one I found to be hydrating and mega concealing. It seems like you get a generous amount. There's half an ounce in here, and I think the intention is there's so many colors. The formula is so flexible that you can use it almost like foundation. So you can get several shades, do some contouring and highlighting, blend them all together, and you're covered. You know, you don't even need foundation if you didn't want to. But it is a good concealer. I haven't reached for it in a while because I've had so many other new ones, and it's good. There were some I didn't try. There was the Huda concealer, there was the Cover FX. So there were some I didn't even bother with because I was just like, ah. But for a girl with dark circles, sometimes an occasional puffiness, definitely got some crepey action going on. So I'm always considering what's moisturizing, what's not too greasy, and what's gonna wear well, and what's going to not look dry and crepey. Now, you guys, the Flower Beauty, there was the Nude Illusion foundation this year, and then this is this like the Nude, oh, it's the Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer. This concealer, also a doe foot, was so good for drugstore because it gave good coverage, but kind of a lightness about it. It had, I can't remember what it was, kind of, people thought it was like a dupe of, but it's good stuff. It really wears well. It didn't crease for me. It doesn't have as much coverage as some of the others, and like the Born This Way I'm gonna show you, but it says full coverage, so it's pretty good. So then we've got the Magic Away, which I did use. This is Charlotte Tilbury. I did use this in my Mary Poppins video. I struggled with this because I didn't want to buy it at first, and then because it was sold out everywhere. I think Wayne Goss really liked it, and that's what kind of got the ball rolling, and everybody bought it. And it was hard to find a shade, and I was a little confused because some people really liked it and some people said it creased on them. And I think the trick about this is people don't like it because of the applicator. This reminds me of the Maybelline Age Rewind. It has that sponge. And this particular one for Charlotte Tilbury gets kind of messy. I guess what people have been doing is they've pulled off the sponge tip and have just been depositing the concealer onto their sponge or hand, and I think that's a really good idea. I don't mind it. It hasn't been a problem for me. I have shade 4. This concealer runs really light. So if you are a pale skin, really pale skin, rejoice. You will find a shade that works for you. If you are medium dark, just be sure to kind of really go up there on the shade scale because I'm usually not a 4. Sometimes, but not usually. Actually, the Makeup Revolution runs really light too, so yeah. So I prep my under eye area before I use this. I am sure to moisturize and definitely make sure underneath is good and hydrated, and then I use this sparingly because it does deposit a lot of color, or I should say a lot of pigment. I don't want it to be thick. I am sure to, when I blend it out and I barely set it with just a smidge of powder, it really lasts all day. The other thing that's great about this is it really conceals dark spots, any kind of blemishes, anything that you want on the face to be concealed, and it's kind of undetectable. So I just basically put some on my sponge and I just kind of dry brushed my face, if you will, like my sponge wasn't even wet. And I just kind of buffed out some redness when I had no time for makeup, but I wanted to just kind of look less awful. And it really did a good job, so. Now, the question is, how does the powder work? Because I haven't tried that one yet. So that was a good one, and you'll see me use that more often. Here is, speaking of OG, is the CoverGirl Outlast. This concealer is so good. This is like my third tube of it. I use the light medium because this runs pretty light. There's fair and light medium, and actually, do I use the light? Anyway, but the fair is really fair. They've changed the packaging on this. It's in that new CoverGirl black and white packaging. So if you don't see it in the red, don't despair. It's just changed. I think the price has gone up too, because at Rite Aid it was $11. It is cheaper at Target no matter what, but I'm wondering if they're kind of increasing price. This is also a sponge top. It doesn't, it kind of goes on thin. You know, you think, oh, well, this doesn't have a lot of coverage, but I don't know why this seems kind of runny, but it goes on thin and it doesn't seem like it's a super thick formula or it has a lot of coverage, but this has something in it that makes it really flexible on the skin. It doesn't crease. You barely need to set it. It really does last all day, and it's really good for aging under eyes because it doesn't seem to have that, you know, where you wear a concealer after several hours and as your skin becomes kind of dry as the day goes on and you're kind of sucking the life out of it, all of a sudden your under eye area just feels like it's shriveled. This doesn't do that. So actually none of the ones I'm showing you do that, but definitely I feel like it does a really good job of staying fresh for a good price. Now these last two are probably my favorites. Oops, wrong one. Kind of winners. These are, we got Doll 10, the Hydralux, and we've got the Jouer full coverage. Both of these are amazing for dry under eyes with heavy duty dark circles because this one is smoothing and this one is hydrating. They wear for hours. They are very concentrated, so I say the less you use the better so that you don't have any creasing or just kind of, you don't want it to look too heavy or cakey. And just a little bit of powder. I do both sponge, brush, fingers, it really depends. I think they lend themselves to either. This one, I think the Doll 10 actually applies with more coverage with your fingers. But if you want to just kind of spread it out and make sure it's even and pushed into the skin, a dampened beauty sponge is perfect for these. So there you go. These are kind of my, these were the winners for the year. But I do have some really, really good ones that I do love, and I will list them below because they are worth mentioning, but I feel like I could talk all day about concealer. So yeah. Anyhow, alrighty, that is my best of 2018 in a series of all kinds of stuff I'm gonna do before 2019. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you are subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.